Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So today we have the 2020 election map of Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump under a proportional system. So I'm using the 270 interactive map and I'm going to be updating it by certain states. Um, Essentially, we're just going to start off with some more obvious states. We'll start off with the ones that we can easily fill in. So since we're going by the congressional map, meaning not every state is winner take all, meaning the winner of the congressional district wins their one electoral vote and the overall winner of the state wins two. Um, to be honest, it's not really going to be able to be editable like that. So essentially, whoever wins the congressional district wins the majority of the state. So some obvious ones: Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho. Um, these are states that are probably going to go to Donald Trump fully, especially on a congressional map. Um, Utah included with their 6 electoral votes. As for states for Bernie Sanders, states like Vermont, for obvious reasons. Obviously, it's his home state, and there's only one congressional district. West Virginia, that one I'm not going to go to. A number of southern states have electoral votes for Democrats. But over in Hawaii, again, I would give that one to Bernie Sanders. And looking at the map, we have a number of states that we have yet to fill in. But actually, Oklahoma, I could see going to Donald Trump, although Bernie Sanders did very well in the primary there. And they do have somewhat of a competitive district here. I'm not seeing it for Bernie Sanders the way that it was competitive before. Obviously, the reach of Democrats across the Midwest and around states like Oklahoma has been it's not as good lately, and I don't necessarily think that Sanders, although he did win the primary there, would be that one candidate to bring them out to vote to overcome a huge number of Republican voters. But, so pretty much all the states we can fill in, I've pretty much filled in for Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump respectively. Actually, the state of Alaska, that one would go to Donald Trump. Obviously, another 3 electoral votes. District of Columbia, going to Bernie Sanders. Rhode Island, I could also call for Bernie Sanders. I don't necessarily see a possibility of Trump winning up there. Over in the state of Massachusetts, another pretty solid blue state, not really Trump territory at all. But I can't really fill in any other safe blue states like New York, Maryland, my home state, because a number of the states have Democrat congressional districts. And right now we have 25 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders to 32 for Donald Trump. So I'm going to go look at the map of the 2016 congressional map of essentially a number of voters in the 2016 congressional map and compare it to where I believe they would vote. So starting off with California, huge state here. Back in 2016, Donald Trump won 7 congressional districts here, and Hillary Clinton won 46. So looking at that map, I think that Bernie would able to be expanded by 1 vote. I don't necessarily see it as something huge changing for the Democratic Party. So I'm going to give them, let's see, since we're going by overall state winner, giving 2 electoral votes to them. Hillary Clinton won, let me see, she won a total of 46 districts, so she would get 48, and Bernie would get 49, whereas Donald Trump would get the remaining 6. And as you can see, the map fills in blue because the majority of the state electors went to Bernie Sanders, while some went to Donald Trump, boosting them both up. Going over to Oregon, pretty much only 1 vote from the state of Oregon, I believe, would go to the Republican Party. My bad. So 6 would go to Sanders and 1 would go to Trump. As for the state of Washington, Hillary Clinton lost 3 congressional districts here. Narrow margins in that part of in Washington. I think that Sanders could expand on Clinton's lead and carry a total of 10 electoral votes. So we're going to have to scroll down here, take the state of Washington, update it, go back up. This is going to be really confusing for a while. We're going to give 1 electoral vote for, 2 electoral votes, and 10 for Sanders. Okay, looking at the map, 90 electoral votes for 41 for Donald Trump. We're going to go fill in Nebraska now. So the state of Nebraska, pretty much probably going to go blue. Probably going to go red. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm getting sidetracked by this. So except for 1 electoral vote from the state of Nebraska, I think would go from the 2nd district, of course, the only competitive district, would go to Bernie Sanders. As for Kansas, the Democrats pretty much win 1 congressional district here, so I would still keep that as 1. I'm not seeing that much of turnout for Bernie Sanders in the state of Kansas, 1 electoral vote for him, 5 for Donald Trump. And looking at the map, again, 92 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders, 250 for Donald Trump. Going down to the key state of Texas. This is a very, very contested state here. Very much full of swing states. Hillary Clinton won 14 districts. I think Bernie Sanders could carry 18 just based off increased minority turnout. So we'll go down to Texas, give 18 to the Democrats, and give 30 for Donald Trump. Oh, not 30, my bad, 20. Putting them at a total of 70 electoral votes for Donald Trump to 110 for Bernie Sanders. So pretty much red up and down the map, but some congressional districts that are willing to budge. Over in the state of in Colorado, Democrats won 6 congressional districts back in 2016. I'm thinking this time they could actually carry a big part of Colorado, giving them a total of 7. So 7 to the Democrats and 2 for the GOP. Update that, and there we go. 117 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders to 72 for Donald Trump. Going over to the state of New Mexico, you know, that state's probably not going to budge for the Democratic Party. I think I would give 1 electoral vote to the GOP and 4 for the Democratic Party. Now we just have yet to fill in Arizona and Nevada. Key states in both of them. So we'll see how they voted in 2016 and compare it to where I think they would vote in 20. So 4 electoral votes for the Democrats, 7 for the Republicans. If we're being completely honest here, I would think that the Democrats would make a net gain of 2 congressional districts, putting the Republicans at 5. Giving, essentially, I would give Arizona to the Democratic Party. So the Democrats would carry 7, the Republicans would carry 5. The Democrats would carry 6, my bad. And that would give them a victory in the state of Arizona. Now going over to the state of Nevada. That one's pretty Republican for the most part. Where it was in 2016, it was more Republican than in 12, but I think Bernie Sanders could gain a number of voters. The Democrats won 4 congressional districts here, 2 congressional districts, my bad. If I make a mistake, if whichever party won in 2016, just subtract 2 from the congressional district number if I make a mistake like that. 2 congressional districts for the Democrats, 2 for the Republicans. I'm thinking that Bernie Sanders could carry 3 congressional districts from the state of Nevada. I apologize if I make any mistakes. I'm probably going to redo this video as an election night coming up soon. But this would give 5 electoral votes for the Democrats and 1 for the Republican. So we filled in about half the United States right now, and we have a lead with 132 electoral votes for Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and 79 for the incumbent president, of course, Donald J. Trump. We can go across the west now. Across the south. We have Mississippi, Alabama to allocate their electoral votes. I'm still seeing the same results we saw in 16. I would see 8 electoral votes going to the Republicans, 1 for the Democrat. Going over to Mississippi, same thing, 1 electoral vote for the Democratic Party and 5 for the GOP. And we can go over to Arkansas, where I think that Democrats would actually gain 1 electoral vote, giving them 1 and the Republicans 5. Down in Louisiana, another key state, 1 electoral vote for the GOP and 7 for the Democratic Party. Now looking at the map, that puts Bernie Sanders at 147 electoral vote. Actually, no, I made a big mistake. My bad. Let's flip these two. 5 to 1, 8 to 1. Update, and let's see what that puts us on the map. 104 electoral votes for Donald Trump, breaking the 100 barrier, and 136 for Bernie Sanders. Going over to the state of Georgia, another very, very closely watched swing state. The Democrats won 4 congressional districts last time. The Republicans won 10. You know, there are a number of swing districts here with that huge African-American turnout. But overall, I think that the Democrats could gain in 2 electoral votes, giving them a total of 6. And, of course, the Republicans a total of 8. But since you add on the 2, they would get 10. So let's go to the state of Georgia. Let's fill that in. So 6, 10, update. Okay, 142 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders to 114 for Donald Trump. Another swing state, the state of Florida. Um, Ultimately, it comes down to where demographics come out to vote. There are a number of key districts I think that Bernie Sanders could actually take a win on. So, as of the 2016 map, Hillary Clinton carried 13 districts. I think that Bernie Sanders could carry actually 17 districts, and adding on to that, they would get 2 more, giving them a total of 19. So let's go down to Florida, give the Democrats 19, and giving the Republicans 10. Looking at the map, 2 candidates are coming very close. Going up to South Carolina, 1 electoral vote going to the Democrats. I don't necessarily see it budging pretty soon. 8 for the GOP. All the way over in Tennessee, I'd give 1 electoral vote for the Democrat, Bernie Sanders. So where's Tennessee? Where are you? Tennessee. 1 for the Democrats. 10 for the GOP. The state of Missouri. No, that's pretty close. Characterizing the state of Missouri would be a little bit tougher than usual. Going over to the state of Kentucky, I think that the Democrats could actually carry two congressional districts, and this gives the Republicans 8. Looking at the map, 165 electoral votes for Senator Sanders to 148 for Donald Trump. Going over to the state of West Virginia, again, pretty solid. We can fill that one in pretty much knowing how it's going to turn out. That puts Trump at 153 electoral votes. State of Delaware, obviously going to Bernie Sanders. I don't know why I didn't characterize that earlier. New Hampshire, that one's probably going to go to Bernie Sanders. I don't really think that Trump would be able to hold on to that 1 district, considering he narrowly won it back in 2016, and Bernie Sanders would just pretty much expand on Hillary Clinton's lead back in 2016. I'm thinking that all of Connecticut would go to Bernie Sanders. And yeah, so looking at the map, we have 179 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders to 153 for Donald Trump. I actually think Bernie Sanders could win back the entire state of Maine, giving him 183 electoral votes. Now it's time to fill in some key states. So the state of Maryland, I'll fill that one in right now. Giving Maryland, give 1 electoral vote for the GOP, 9 for the Democratic Party. And looking at the map, we have 154 electoral votes for Donald Trump, 292 for Bernie Sanders. Now, a number of races were changed from 2016. Donald Trump won every congressional district in the state of Iowa, but I think that Bernie Sanders could actually win 3 congressional districts, giving him 5 out of the total 6 electoral votes, compared to Hillary Clinton losing every congressional district, but Barack Obama winning every one but 1. So this puts Bernie Sanders nearing 200 and 197 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 155. Now, going over to the state of Wisconsin, the Democrats won 2 congressional districts and came very close to winning, and the Republicans won a total of 6. I think that Bernie Sanders could pretty much pick up 1 congressional district, but I don't think it would be enough to actually win the state popular vote, as you might expect. But yeah, so going over to the state of Wisconsin, actually looking at the map and the margin map, it could be possible. Actually, now that I think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 onto 2. That gives the Democrats a net gain of 6. My bad. Giving them 8 electoral votes and the Republicans 2. I made a mistake. I apologize. But this puts Bernie Sanders at 205 electoral votes and Donald Trump at 157. Now going over to the key state of Minnesota. So very, very key state. 1, 2, 3 electoral votes on top of Hillary Clinton's 5. If you had 3 on top of 5, I would pretty much give Bernie Sanders 8 electoral votes from the state of, let's see, where is it? So 8 and 2 for the GOP. And looking at the map, we have 213 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders to 159 for Donald Trump. Going over to the state of Illinois, the Democrats lost 7 electoral votes according to the proportional system. There are 3 districts that I believe could go to the GOP, so adding on to their total of 11 districts, putting them at 14, you add 2, and what does that give you? 16 electoral votes for the Democratic Party. Now, I apologize for this video going on and on and on. We're almost done. I promise you. So 229 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders to 163 for Donald Trump. Now let's start filling in some more obvious states. So the state like Missouri, the Democrats won a total of 2 districts here. There's not much going to change in the state of Missouri. It'll probably stay with the GOP, giving a total of 2 electoral votes to the Democrats and 8 for the GOP. Looking at the map, 171 to 231. Going over to the state of Indiana. This is a state that Democrats won 2 electoral votes in. I think 1 electoral vote could change for the Democratic Party, giving them a total of 3. But the Republicans, still hold on to this. So, total of 3, 8, 234 for Bernie Sanders, surpassing Hillary Clinton, and 179 for Donald Trump. Now let's fill in some obvious states like New York. I believe that a number of districts like, the Democrats won 20 districts. I'm thinking they could win 23 this time around. So let's go. They won 18 districts, my bad, but I believe they would win 23 electoral votes. So let's fill in 23, and then 6. 29 on the board. So 257 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders to 185 for Donald Trump. We're going to go fill in the state of New Jersey. 9 electoral votes would go to the Democrat according to the 2016 map. I would give them a net gain of 2 congressional districts. So going over to the state of New Jersey, the Democrats win 11 and the GOP wins 3. Now looking at the map, 188 for Donald Trump to 268 for Bernie Sanders. The state of Michigan. This was pretty much a solid red state according to congressional district. We had the state of Michigan with 11 electoral votes for the GOP and 5 for Donald Trump. Sorry, 5 for Hillary Clinton, my bad. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 districts that I think would go to the Democratic Party. So, of course, if you add that on to 5, that puts us at 10. And putting it on 10, plus the 2 electoral votes, put you at 12 electoral votes to 4 for the GOP. And now Bernie Sanders has surpassed the 270 with 280 electoral votes. We're going to fill in the rest of this map, respectively. State of Pennsylvania, 6 congressional districts for the Democratic Party. Pretty much, I think they would gain 2, giving them a total of 8. But it wouldn't be necessarily enough to actually win the state at large. And 12 for the GOP, updated that. And Bernie Sanders is now at 288 to Donald Trump's 204. Going over to the state of Ohio, not that many contested districts, maybe 3, but looking at where they voted in 16, 4 electoral votes, giving 7 to the Democratic Party. Go to Ohio, you give 7 to the Democratic Party. Again, not enough to win in total, my bad. Giving Donald Trump 215 electoral votes to Bernie Sanders' 295. And Democrats won 7 congressional districts back in 16, and they won in Virginia. And the GOP won 6. I think that Bernie Sanders would carry 8. So going over to Virginia, of course, they won 6 districts, but I meant it's really hard. This is something completely new to me. I'm sorry. 304 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders, 219 for Donald Trump. Now we're just going to fill in the state of North Carolina. I don't know why I'm messing up so bad. I apologize. And we're going to see how this map turns out. So, 3 electoral votes are going to the 2016 map for the Democratic Party. I think they would only gain 2, meaning they lose the state at large. So you go over to North Carolina. Let's fill that in. 2 plus, you got 2 giving them 5. And the GOP gets 10. Updating the map, final electoral map, 309 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders to 229 for Donald Trump. Thank you guys for watching this video. I apologize for it being so long. I had no idea it would be this long. A lot of effort takes into calculating the votes, so I'll probably do more of an election night next time rather than a prediction, so you guys don't have to just get bored of watching me scroll up and down. And I'm 99% sure most of you just skip to the end anyway. I do that too, so it's completely fine. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.